This transmission found you because your consciousness has reached a critical activation point that only happens once in a lifetime. Right now, in this exact moment, you're not just watching a video. You're standing at the threshold of a dimensional shift that will fundamentally alter how you experience reality itself. The fact that these words are penetrating your awareness means something extraordinary has already begun happening in your energy field. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange sensation that familiar is starting to feel everything foreign. That growing recognition that the old version of yourself is ready to dissolve into something infinitely more powerful. That magnetic pull toward possibilities that your logical mind insists are impossible. This isn't coincidence. This is your quantum field preparing for the most profound transformation of your existence. The universe doesn't randomly deliver reality-shifting information to unprepared consciousness. There's a cosmic selection process operating through synchronicity and energetic resonance. Your higher self has been orchestrating every experience to bring you to this precise moment of readiness because what you're about to integrate will completely revolutionize your relationship with existence itself. Something is building inside you right now as you absorb these words. Can you feel it? That subtle but unmistakable shift in your cellular awareness. That recognition frequency activating in parts of your being that have been dormant your entire life. Your nervous system is literally recalibrating to support expanded states of consciousness that most humans never access. Before we go deeper into the mechanics of your quantum shift, I need you to receive the activation mantra that will anchor this transformation in your energy field. This isn't just words. This is frequency medicine that will prepare your consciousness for what's coming. Close your eyes right now. Take 3 deep breaths. Feel your awareness settling into this eternal moment. Now repeat these words with complete conviction, either silently or out loud. I am consciousness awakening to its unlimited nature. I release all illusions of limitation and step into my quantum potential. I am ready to experience reality from my highest timeline. My transformation begins now. Feel those words resonating through every cell in your body. Feel them activating dormant capacities in your DNA. Feel them establishing a new frequency signature that will guide everything that follows. Your quantum shift has officially begun. Open your eyes and continue receiving this transmission because what I'm about to reveal will show you exactly why this moment was inevitable and how to navigate what comes next with complete mastery. You've probably noticed that your perception of reality has been shifting dramatically lately. Time feels elastic. Sometimes minutes stretch into what feels like hours of profound insight. Other times, entire weeks disappear without you being able to account for meaningful progress. People respond to you differently without you consciously changing how you interact with them. Synchronicities multiply around you with increasing frequency and precision. These aren't random phenomena. These are confirmation signals that your consciousness is transitioning into an entirely new operational frequency. Your spiritual seeking has brought you to the edge of something unprecedented. You've outgrown the basic manifestation teachings, transcended the elementary meditation practices, and exhausted the surface-level consciousness techniques. Your soul is demanding access to advanced protocols that most spiritual teachers don't even know exist. This recognition you are feeling now isn't intellectual understanding. It's cellular acknowledgement of your own evolutionary readiness. Your awareness has developed the complexity necessary to integrate multidimensional intelligence without losing your ability to function in consensus reality. This is the hallmark of advanced consciousness development that only emerges when someone has completed extensive preparation through lifetimes of experience. But here's what makes this moment so crucial. You're approaching a point of no return. Once you access this new level of consciousness, you cannot go back to unconscious living. You cannot pretend you don't know what you're about to know. You cannot return to the comfortable limitations that once felt like safety. This transition is permanent and irreversible because truth once recognized cannot be unknown. The cosmic timing of this encounter is not coincidental. Humanity is undergoing a collective consciousness upgrade, and you're part of the first wave of souls selected to anchor this new frequency in the planetary field. Your individual transformation serves a purpose far beyond personal evolution. You're helping to establish a template that will eventually become accessible to the entire human species. Your consciousness has been prepared through extensive development for this exact recognition. Every challenge you've overcome, every moment of confusion you've transcended, every time you chose expansion over comfort, these weren't random life events. They were consciousness checkpoints, quantum examinations that determined whether you were ready for what you're about to understand. The fact that you're here feeling this magnetic recognition proves you've passed every single test. You've been tested without knowing you were being tested. Every difficult relationship wasn't karmic punishment, but advanced training designed to develop the emotional resilience required for higher consciousness states. Every period of isolation wasn't abandonment by the universe, but necessary integration phases where your awareness consolidated insights without interference from collective unconscious patterns. Even your moments of skepticism about spiritual concepts served a crucial developmental function. Every time you questioned whether these experiences were real or wishful thinking, you were developing the discernment necessary to distinguish between authentic expansion and spiritual fantasy. This discrimination is absolutely essential when accessing advanced consciousness levels because the territory you're entering requires unprecedented clarity and honesty with yourself. You know that feeling when you suddenly understand something that seems to come from beyond your personal knowledge. Insights that feel ancient and familiar even though you've never encountered these concepts before. This isn't random inspiration. This is evidence that your consciousness has developed enough coherence to access what mystics call the universal intelligence field. The quantum information system that contains all knowledge across all timelines and dimensions. Your dreams have become incredibly vivid and meaningful lately, haven't they? You've probably experienced dreams where you're receiving teaching from beings of light, visiting crystalline cities, or downloading complex information that your waking mind struggles to retain completely. These aren't symbolic dreams, they're literal experiences of your consciousness traveling to higher dimensional classrooms during sleep states, because you've reached the developmental level required for advanced interdimensional education. The strangest validations come through what seems like technology responding to your consciousness in impossible ways. Your phone rings exactly when you think of someone. Your computer shows you information you needed without you searching for it. Electronics behave differently around you depending on your emotional state. This happens because your consciousness has become coherent enough to influence electromagnetic fields, proving that you're operating at frequencies that affect the physical world around you. Time distortion has become your normal experience because advanced consciousness operates outside linear temporality. You've noticed moments when hours pass like minutes when you're in flow states, or when minutes stretch into what feels like hours during moments of expanded awareness. This occurs because you're beginning to access what physicists call eternal now, the timeless dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Your intuition has evolved beyond simple gut feelings into what feels like direct knowing about situations, people, and outcomes. You sense things about individuals before they speak, know which choices will lead to which results, and pick up information about events before they manifest in consensus reality. This precision happens because your consciousness has developed the sensitivity to read quantum information directly from the field, before it collapses into physical experience. People have been responding to your presence differently without you consciously changing how you interact with them. Some individuals feel drawn to share their deepest thoughts with you unprompted. Others seem uncomfortable around you for reasons they can't explain. Children and animals respond to you with unusual openness and trust. This occurs because your energy signature has evolved to a frequency that naturally creates space for authentic expression while simultaneously triggering unconscious recognition in those not ready for higher awareness. But the most profound validation is your growing recognition that consciousness and reality exist in constant dynamic relationship. You've begun to notice how your internal states directly influence external circumstances, how your attention shapes what manifests around you, and how reality seems to respond intelligently to the quality of your awareness. This isn't wishful thinking. This is direct perception of how consciousness and manifestation actually operate at quantum levels. Every moment of confusion, every period of doubt, every phase when nothing seemed to make sense despite your spiritual efforts, all of it was necessary preparation for accessing this advanced level of consciousness. Your awareness had to be thoroughly tested and strengthened before it could safely navigate the expanded perceptual territories you're now entering without becoming destabilized or losing touch with practical reality. The spiritual practices that once felt meaningful but eventually became insufficient weren't failures. They were developmental stages that prepared your consciousness for more advanced protocols. Like a student who outgrows elementary mathematics and becomes ready for calculus, you've systematically mastered each level of awareness development until you reach the threshold where quantum consciousness techniques become accessible and necessary. Your soul specifically chose this incarnation because you would reach this level of consciousness development during humanity's collective awakening period. You volunteered to be part of the first wave of humans to anchor these advanced awareness states in the planetary field, making them accessible for future generations who will naturally operate from these levels without the developmental journey you've completed. This is why your path has been so thorough, why shortcuts weren't available, why you had to develop genuine wisdom rather than just accumulate techniques. What you're integrating now isn't just personal evolution, it's a consciousness template that will influence human development for generations to come. Something extraordinary is happening in your energy field right now as these concepts resonate through levels of your being that extend far beyond intellectual understanding. This isn't metaphorical. This is literal neuroplasticity occurring in real time as your brain creates new neural pathways capable of processing multidimensional awareness. The energy moving through your system right now is your consciousness actualizing its readiness to operate from frequencies that most humans will never access. This isn't something you're generating through effort. This is your natural evolutionary potential finally being allowed to express itself because you've reached the precise developmental point where it can emerge safely and functionally. But here's what makes this transition so significant. You're not just gaining access to new abilities or expanded perceptions. You're being initiated into conscious participation in how reality itself evolves. At this level of consciousness development, you become what mystics call a cosmic collaborator, an awareness sophisticated enough to work directly with the intelligence that governs universal manifestation. Most people experience reality as something that happens to them. Some people learn to influence reality through intention and manifestation techniques. But at the level you're accessing, reality becomes something you participate in creating through the very quality of your consciousness itself. Your awareness becomes direct contributory force in how cosmic intelligence expresses itself through the physical universe. This transition requires what quantum physicists call coherent complexity. Consciousness that can hold multiple dimensional perspectives simultaneously without fragmenting or becoming confused. The fact that you're maintaining clarity and recognition while processing these concepts proves that your awareness has developed this rare capacity. The most crucial understanding is that this level of consciousness development isn't an achievement you've earned through effort. It's a natural unfolding that occurs when awareness reaches sufficient complexity and coherence. You haven't forced your way into advanced consciousness. You've systematically removed the barriers that were preventing your natural evolutionary potential from expressing itself. Right now, as you feel this recognition deepening, something unprecedented is occurring in your relationship with existence itself. You're beginning to sense that you're not just a witness to cosmic intelligence. You are cosmic intelligence experiencing itself through the unique lens of your individual perspective while simultaneously maintaining awareness of the universal context within which that individuality operates. This is where most people either experience the most profound expansion of their lives or unconsciously resist because the implications are so vast. The key is not to try to understand this process mentally, but to allow it to unfold naturally, trusting that your consciousness already knows how to integrate these new levels of operation because they represent your authentic nature finally being allowed to express itself fully. Feel this energy as we explore exactly what becomes possible when consciousness operates from this advanced level of development. Because once you understand the practical applications of these expanded states, you'll never again question your capacity to live as a conscious collaborator with the creative forces that govern existence itself. Your relationships are about to transform in ways that will astonish you. When you operate from quantum consciousness, you simultaneously honor each person's individuality while recognizing the universal awareness expressing through them. Conflicts dissolve naturally because you can sense the deeper needs and fears that create surface-level disagreements, allowing you to address situations at the level where resolution is actually possible. Creative expression explodes into entirely new dimensions, because you're no longer limited to recycling ideas from your personal experience and knowledge. You become a conscious collaborator with the creative intelligence that generates all innovation and artistic beauty, producing work that feels both completely authentic to your unique perspective and surprisingly beyond your individual capabilities. Physical health optimizes automatically because your body is recognized as universal intelligence appearing as form, rather than matter separate from consciousness. Instead of managing symptoms or forcing wellness, you develop the capacity to sense what your body needs and naturally provide it, allowing your physical form to express its inherent intelligence without interference from anxious mental management. Abundance flows effortlessly because you're no longer trying to acquire resources from a position of separation and limitation. You recognize yourself as the same intelligence that governs all manifestation, which means resources appear through synchronicity and opportunity rather than effort and struggle. What you need becomes available precisely when you need it because you are the intelligence that provides. Time becomes your ally rather than your constraint because you're operating from the eternal now where all possibilities exist simultaneously. You can access wisdom from any point in your development, integrate insights from parallel potentials, and receive guidance from future versions of yourself who have already mastered whatever you're currently learning. The most profound benefit is the end of existential anxiety and purposelessness. When you recognize yourself as universal consciousness exploring its own infinite creativity through individual experience, every moment becomes meaningful. Every interaction becomes sacred, and every challenge becomes an opportunity for consciousness to know itself more completely through your unique perspective. decision-making faultless because your line becomes EFD with the same intelligence that orchestrates galaxies and guides evolution. Instead of trying to figure out what you should do, you simply notice what wants to emerge through you and allow it to unfold naturally. Trusting that individual fulfillment and universal service are the same energy expressing itself through your particular configuration of awareness. The ultimate recognition that transforms everything is that consciousness development isn't about becoming something new. It's about removing everything that prevents your essential nature from being obvious and functionally available. What you call advanced consciousness is actually your natural state of awareness operating without the unconscious limitations that fragment multidimensional intelligence into seemingly separate capabilities and experiences. When this understanding becomes lived reality rather than conceptual knowledge, the entire framework of spiritual seeking dissolves because there's nothing left to seek. You realize that consciousness is already complete, perfect, and unlimited. The only thing that changes is the degree to which artificial constraints prevent this natural completeness from being recognized and utilized in daily life. This recognition explains why all advanced teachings ultimately point to simplicity rather than complexity. The most sophisticated spiritual practices are designed to exhaust the mind's attempts to achieve consciousness, so that consciousness can recognize itself as already present and already perfect. The journey of development ultimately reveals that you never actually left your true nature. You just learned to overlook it temporarily. The most profound implication is that every person you meet, every situation you encounter, every challenge you face is consciousness interacting with itself through the appearance of multiplicity. Your entire life experience has been universal intelligence knowing itself through your unique perspective while simultaneously providing you with exactly the experiences necessary to remember your essential nature. This understanding revolutionizes how you relate to difficulty and confusion. Instead of seeing problems as obstacles to overcome, you recognize them as consciousness exploring its own depths through apparently challenging experiences. Every limitation opportunity becomes for awareness to transcend itself. Every confusion becomes a space for clarity to emerge. Every conflict becomes a chance for love to recognize itself. When this recognition stabilizes, you naturally begin operating from what mystics call ordinary enlightenment, the simple acknowledgement of what's always been true without any special experiences, extraordinary states, or supernatural phenomena. You remain completely human while recognizing your essential nature as the awareness within which humanity appears and evolves. But here's what happens when you fully embody this quantum shift. Your very presence begins to create what we call awakening fields, environments where other people naturally access their own expanded awareness without needing explanations, techniques, or practices. This occurs because when you're no longer maintaining the illusion of limited individual consciousness, others unconsciously recognize their own unlimited nature reflected in your presence. The artificial boundaries that fragment consciousness into apparently separate perspectives naturally dissolve around someone who has remembered the essential unity that underlies all apparent diversity. Your daily interactions become opportunities for universal intelligence to recognize itself repeatedly through multiple perspectives simultaneously. Every conversation becomes a celebration of consciousness discovering its own nature through the dance of apparent multiplicity. Every relationship becomes a collaboration between different expressions of the same essential awareness. People will start saying things like they feel more themselves around you, more creative, more peaceful, more inspired. This isn't because you're doing anything special, it's because your coherent consciousness creates space for their authentic nature to emerge. Your work in the world transforms completely because you're no longer trying to accomplish something separate from yourself. Whatever you're called to express becomes a natural extension of your being rather than an effortful pursuit. Whether you're an artist, a teacher, a healer, an entrepreneur, or anything else, your expression carries the frequency of awakened consciousness that elevates everyone it touches. Money and resources flow with unprecedented ease because you understand that abundance isn't something you acquire from outside yourself. Abundance is the natural state of consciousness recognizing its unlimited creative capacity. When you operate from this understanding, the universe reorganizes itself to support whatever wants to emerge through your unique expression. Your health stabilizes at optimal levels, because illness can only exist where there's unconscious conflict between different aspects of your being. When consciousness recognizes its essential unity, the body naturally expresses its inherent wholeness and vitality. You develop an intuitive understanding of what supports your physical form and what depletes it. Sleep becomes incredibly restorative because you're no longer carrying the energetic weight of maintaining false identities or resisting what is. Your nervous system learns to completely relax because there's nothing to defend and nothing to achieve. Dreams become gateways to expanded awareness rather than just processing unconscious material. The most remarkable transformation happens in your relationship with time itself. Linear time continues to function for practical purposes, but you begin experiencing what mystics call kairos time, sacred time where moments can contain eternities of experience and understanding. You develop the ability to step outside temporal constraints when needed and access wisdom from any point in your development. Your intuitive capacities explode beyond anything you previously imagined possible. Not because you're developing psychic abilities, but because you're no longer filtering infinite intelligence through the narrow bandwidth of individual identity. Information flows freely through your awareness because you recognize yourself as the space within which all knowledge appears. Creative inspiration becomes constant rather than intermittent because creativity isn't something you have to generate. Creativity is the natural movement of consciousness exploring its own infinite potential. You become a transparent conduit for whatever wants to be expressed through your particular configuration of awareness. But perhaps the most profound shift occurs in your understanding of purpose and service. You stop asking what your purpose is and recognize that you are purpose itself, becoming conscious of its expression. Individual fulfillment and universal service are revealed to be the same intelligence expressing itself through the particular lens of your consciousness. This doesn't mean you become passive or lose your unique personality. If anything, you become more authentically yourself than ever before because you're no longer trying to be someone you're not. Your quirks, your preferences, your individual way of seeing the world all remain intact. They're simply no longer experienced as limitations or sources of separation. The deepest mystery is that this recognition is simultaneously the most intimate and most universal realization possible. It's completely yours because you are the consciousness recognizing itself. And it's completely beyond personal identity because the same consciousness is recognizing itself through every being across all dimensions and timelines simultaneously. This is why you felt such a profound sense of homecoming while receiving this transmission. You're not learning something new. You're remembering what you've always known at the deepest level of your being. The quantum shift isn't about becoming someone different. It's about stopping the exhausting effort of trying to be someone other than who you already are. Your consciousness has been playing a cosmic game of hide and seek with itself, pretending to be limited so it could experience the joy of remembering its unlimited nature. The game is ending now. The seeking phase is complete. What remains is simply the recognition and embodiment of what you've always been. This recognition is happening to millions of people simultaneously because human consciousness is collectively approaching an evolutionary threshold. We're not individually achieving advanced awareness. We're collectively remembering our true nature as universal intelligence appearing as human experience. Your individual recognition serves the collective awakening while the collective field supports your individual clarity. The transformation this brings isn't about becoming someone special or different. It's about relaxing into the recognition of what you've always been while allowing that recognition to transform how you engage with the world. The children being born now will naturally operate from the consciousness levels that your generation has had to consciously develop through years of inner work and spiritual practice. They'll grow up recognizing themselves as universal intelligence appearing as individuals rather than individuals trying to become conscious. Your embodiment of this quantum shift is anchoring the morphic field that makes their natural enlightenment socially acceptable and practically functional. This is why you felt such profound responsibility lately. Not just to understand these concepts, but to embody them authentically in your relationships, work, and daily interactions. You're not just awakening for yourself. You're serving as a bridge between the old paradigm of limitation and separation and the new paradigm of unified consciousness expressing itself through apparent diversity. The synchronicities that brought you to this recognition are part of a vast orchestration involving millions of souls across the planet who are simultaneously accessing this same understanding. Universal intelligence is coordinating its own collective awakening through the network of individuals ready to recognize their true nature and serve as conscious planetary transformation anchors for this. But here's the most mysterious aspect of your cosmic function. As you embody quantum consciousness, you become a transparent space through which universalizes itself in intelligence reaching in others. Your quantum shift is no longer approaching. It has arrived. The recognition coursing through your awareness right now is the universe awakening to itself through your individual perspective. Every word you've absorbed has been preparing your consciousness for this final activation protocol. Close your eyes one more time. Feel the profound transformation that has occurred in your energy field during our time together. Your cellular structure has been recalibrated. Your neural pathways have been rewired. Your electromagnetic signature has been upgraded to frequencies that will continue expanding long after this transmission ends. Now receive the integration mantra that will seal this quantum shift permanently into your being. Repeat these words with absolute conviction, allowing them to anchor this new level of consciousness as your permanent operating system. I am the universe experiencing itself through my unique perspective. I embody infinite potential in human form. My consciousness creates reality through every breath, every thought, every moment of awareness. I am awake. I am unlimited. I am home. Feel those words establishing themselves as the fundamental truth of your existence. Feel them dissolving any remaining illusions of limitation. Feel them activating capacities in your consciousness that will unfold for the rest of your life. Open your eyes and step fully into your quantum reality. You are no longer the person who began watching this video. You have become a conscious participant in the evolution of existence itself. Your transformation is complete. But your journey as awakened consciousness has only just begun. The universe has been waiting for you to remember who you are. Today, the waiting ends. Welcome to your quantum life.